All right, James, man, I'm super excited to have you on board today. I was doing a lot of these interviews and really been focused on so many things. When I heard your story, I wanted to bring you on because I think it's so inspiring. So many agents out there are wanting to grow their business, more importantly, wanting to grow a team. And so just thought we could talk to you a little bit about your experience of, moving over to EXP and how that's impacted your production and what things you're doing right now that you're super excited about. So, man, thanks for jumping on.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is awesome. Awesome for you to take me on here and spend some time and go through it.
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
So let's talk a little bit about you making the move over. When did you make the move?
So I came over in September, and following that, before I was with 100% brokerage, but I was on a team, and I started out as a buyer's agent and built through that. And several different things happened along the way to help raise production. And I ended up training the agents on what I did to get to that point in production. And I mean, just the same as pretty much every team, you get to a production level, your members get to a production level where it's hard to offer enough value for them to stay. And how do you offset that? And through that whole mental side that I was going through and hearing a little bit about EXP, like those two things very much align as far as creating a nice relationship that's lifelong with people and helping them build in the beginning and helping them continue to build as they produce and they grow up, kind of scaling their business. And it's a whole different level of decisions that have to get made. And it's nice to have people that you align with that have already made those decisions, and especially the ones that have already made them, multiple times wrong and figured out what might be the right one.
Heck yeah. So you made the move up. Were you nervous at all?
No. I knew once I saw what EXP was that I was coming. And from there, when I spoke with Jay, I had Jay, Veronica, and Jason all in one call. And my biggest thing was the squad is killer, right? Like the whole squad. Every one of you guys have done incredible things in real estate. My biggest fear is everybody's fear is, okay, great. You're giving me the world. You're telling me that I'm going to get X, Y, and Z, and that you're going to be there. You're going to help me build my business. But I need y'all to know that I'm going to be up your ass, and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to make sure that I'm reaching out. Are you still going to be there for me in 6 months, in 2 years, in 3 years? Are you going to help me through this process, or are you just saying that? And right there on camera, they all looked me square in the eye, and they told me in a way that I believed you, that you were going to be there for me. And everybody has, in multiple different ways.
So you when you came over, what did your team structure look like? How were you set up? Did you have virtual people? Were what was the structure?
So when I came over, it was the transition directly from being I was still a buyer's agent on a team to creating my team. That was I went straight from 100% brokerage with a split to my team leader to coming over here and then developing the entire team.
So you came over basically buyer agent to now you have a team. And what date? When was that?
September 21st of 2020.
So roughly, what is that? 9 months ago? 7 months ago?
7. Yeah. So 7, 8 months ago. Yeah.
Okay. So now you're over at EXP. You were a buyer agent. I mean, you had all that support from being on a team. You probably had all the leads. I mean, kind of walk me through. I mean, I think this is one of the best stories, because so many people think, well, when you come over, first of all, they're scared to come over. And if they do come over and they're on a team, they're scared. But you left a team, that's change in itself, to go to a whole new brokerage with virtually maybe less support. And now you're here, you have support, and kind of walk me through what your team structure, how that changed, and some of the things that you had to overcome, or kind of share that part of the story.
So as you can imagine, there's a lot. Like I'm leaving there where literally like cards, leads, transaction management, like everything was there. So when I came over, the first thing that I'm doing is there's so many people between Veronica, Jay, you, Carlos, Gil, Jason, and Jen, where they've already done this. So all of a sudden, I'm tapping into not just overlooking your businesses, but I mean, at your guys' level, y'all have already created a platform where, like, okay, break down X, Y, Z, and so I already knew a differentiation was huge. So the next step is to step up and what's the marketing going to look like? What's the logo going to look like? And like, I would say 2 weeks and I already had the branding. I already had everything like ready to rock and roll. And I grew up in a pool room, man. Like I like for me, risk isn't like I know I'm going to get there. I know that I can sell houses and I also know that I can help other people sell houses. So it just needed to be the plan. The biggest part of this equation was, it's the one thing that
Clarity.
you don't ever, well, clarity was insane, right? Like the clarity report, I've still got it. I could pull it up it's something where every human being, no matter what business you're in, should do that because it's kind of like forcing something to happen. I don't even know, like, that's not even it's like letting something happen that you want to happen by defining it and envisioning it. And I, I got about March and I was like, man, we're ahead of my goals. Like we're ahead of the timeline for what is going to happen by December 31st of 2021. This works. This is real. Um, and there was a big aspect that it was. I met with Jay for the first time after onboarding, and we were talking through something else, and he was real interested in it, and he was looking at something in a way where I thought that it could be looked at differently. And instead of like kicking me in my nuts, he just says, "Yeah, man, let's jump on a Zoom. You got anything to do right now?" And I show it to him. At the end, he asked me a question, James, what's the biggest thing that you're struggling with right now? Well, at the time, that was when you leave a team, like every other team structure in the world, the sauce of real estate is marketing and leads. Team leaders don't give that up, right? Like they're not showing you that playbook. And Jay's like, listen, man, I'm gonna get you all hooked up. We've got a whole entire division that just does this, and I'm gonna just get you with my son, so we make sure that we get everything up and running as fast as possible, so we can get leads in front of you. And bam, that was the start of it. And Braden and I have built a nice relationship where we're on the phone quite often, working on new things for my business and sharing things back and forth and building them up.
So knowing what you know now, if you could go back in time and whisper in your own ear, what advice would you have given yourself
When I was coming over,
at any point, your real estate career?
um, listen more than you speak. I think that's a big one I could have learned early when I transitioned over. I would say the biggest thing is personal development. Like, it took me, I came over and I'm full of energy, but over the last 4 months, my obsession has changed to the language of motivation, because at the root of it, it's communication and motivation. That's the biggest thing to culture, building a business, um, converting a prospect to work with you. That's huge. Communication is everything.
So, so right now you're what I guess it sounds like everything's going good. The business is great. You're producing. How many agents on your team again?
So we've got 3 now. My wife actually got her license and she got onboarded at the end of the last week. Then we got Joel and Karen, and then Janine helps us with admin and transaction management. So really, total of 4 members on the team.
And where do you see this thing going? Where are you wanting to build it? What's your vision?
So I'm actually a little bit at a crossroads there, and it's for one, I'm going to keep doing what we're doing now. I want to build agents to where they can produce, whether it's because of me or or not, right? Like because of what's provided for the team or not. So it's incubation for sure. I want to take agents and show everybody that, selling 20 homes a year, that is not unobtainable. That is definitely, that's kind of a baseline. And then from there, what are you trying to dedicate? What are your long-term goals? And then we can fit that into, do you want to scale this into hundreds of transactions? Are you comfortable here? Like, where is it that you want to go?
Gotcha. I see your core values behind you. Grit, grind. I like it, man. It looks like did all that flush out of the clarity process, or did you already kind of have that in place? Hustle, success, talent. I like it, man. Student of the game.
So those are a lot of words that I use quite often. And when it was time to start decorating and putting things together, that was actually a gift from my wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like
And
it.
it fit so well. We had like 20 different things where we were trying to figure out what to put up in that section. And I love that right there because it's reminders. It's every day. You got to have reminders.
Heck yeah. So if somebody wanted to reach out and ask you a question or pick your brain, what's the best way for someone to get a hold of you?
Just give me a call, and if that particular time isn't perfect, we'll definitely get together and schedule a time. Definitely giving me a call would be the best way. I like to communicate on the phone.
And where do they call you?
352-678-1175.
Nice. So now we have a handful of people on the team. You're growing. Kind of future pace us on. Has your mindset changed any? Are you a lot of people say when they come to EXP, they don't understand. You use the very descriptive word platform. How do you plan on optimizing the business model at EXP in order, like how do you plan on building your business on this platform? Kind of 3 years from now, if you were looking back, tell me what it looks like. What's your vision of what you're building?
I think the vision for me goes back to like, I'm just going to walk through a little bit of the story, right? I started in real estate, saw a huge gap in like professional, like just issues in the industry. And I knew immediately that I was better than everybody because I just cared. Like I knew that I loved people and I wasn't going to allow them to be in the situations I've seen them in. And that was the first one or two deals. So very quickly that elaborated into how do I help as many people as humanly possible to keep them safe and keep them in a place where I know that I'm the one who's going to finish this and I'm going to get them to where they want to go. You run into that issue, and then all of a sudden something funny happens is that love raises your productivity to where you get to that first point of like, okay, if I keep going and I'm by myself and I'm managing the whole transaction, someone's going to get hurt if I keep pushing in the volume category. So then you add in the pieces as you go along, and that thought of love and that thought of doing this for the customer continues up until you ask me that question 3 years from now. Ideally, I want to help people build their business, show them my ideology, and at basically how I walk a customer through is huge. The motivation for what you're doing it for is huge, and passing that information along because it follows. Like if you love people and you love helping people, you if you love them that much, you got to help another agent learn it. Because guess what? I mean, you can only do so much. Now you have the ability through EXP where when your time is leveraged, you can actually help hundreds, if not thousands, like you guys do, of people build their business. It's amazing. It's truly amazing where you can shift. But that's where I see myself going.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said there. I mean, you actually care, and you're in the transaction, and you're trying to create more value in the marketplace. And man, that's just awesome. And man, if anybody wants to reach out to you, James, make sure you give him a call or send him a text. His number right there on the screen, 352-678-1175. 352-678-1175. If you have any questions at all, make sure you reach out to him. James, man, I want to say thanks for jumping on today and sharing a little bit about your story. It sounds to me like, in a nutshell, the value that you were getting from being on the team, you were able to get at EXP without giving away half of your commission. Sounds to me like people were willing to help you build your business and do those fundamental things, whether it's getting the advice, the questions, the decisions, or the tools or frameworks and the lead generation strategy up, and not costing you a dime, because the business model has other people who are incentivized. And there's compensation behavioral alignment. You have people who've been where you're trying to go, and they're willing to help you get there. And the cool thing is it doesn't cost you a dime. And as you grow your business, everybody wins. And that's the powerful thing about the EXP Realty platform. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you're watching, if you liked it, great. If you want to see some of the other things that we've done over time, we've done a handful of other interviews like this. Where is it? Right here. YouTube.com/Michael Reese. You can go check it out. There's other EXP live reviews. James, thanks for sharing your story with us. And everybody, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you head over to the old YouTube and check it out. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Mike, thanks for everything.
Absolutely.